Hi, I'm Reese from North Dakota, but everyone calls me Bug because of my love for, well, it's easy to guess, insects. But before I continue, please hit like and subscribe. My mom says my passion started in the crib. She remembers that when I was a baby and I was crying my lungs out, a ladybug landed on my nose and I immediately calmed down. Most people don't like insects, but for me, they're just so cute. Luckily, I wasn't the only one who loved bugs. My neighbor Thomas shared my passion. The moment they moved in, our moms became besties and started planning our whole lives together. We grew up listening to the same music, eating the same food, and even having matching clothes. It was like we were twins, except we weren't even related. I would drag him all over the fields and woods, and we'd come home covered in mud and grinning from ear to ear. It was the best. You're the best mud monster friend ever. And you're the best spider catcher friend ever. But everything changed when we were in the 4th grade. I was excited to show my teacher the worms I'd collected from the garden, but the only thing I had to put them in was my lunchbox. So I had to toss my sandwiches to make room for my new little friends. Everyone is gonna think you're gonna eat them for lunch. I thought it was a silly fear, but when I got to science class, everyone was teasing me about my worm lunch. Thomas, tell them it's not true. But they are in your lunchbox. The whole class laughed, and I felt my face turn bright red. Thomas eats his boogers. It wasn't true, but now everyone was laughing at him, and we both felt angry and betrayed. After that epic fight, things between Thomas and me were awkward. He stopped coming on bug hunting missions with me, and there was always this weird tension in the air, like we were both waiting for the other to start something up again. And then the pranks started rolling in, and they never stopped, even as we were growing up. And that's how Thomas turned from my best friend to my worst enemy. He was the proof that you can be a beautiful butterfly on the outside and a stink bug on the inside. Every day was a new prank. Like in 8th grade, I was already late for my final exams, and he had glued my locker shut. Are you feeling stuck? You jerk. I have never met anyone so annoying in my life. Why does he have to be so annoyingly handsome? What a waste of good cheekbones. And the other morning, when I was about to leave for a jog, I stepped in dog poop right outside my door, and I didn't even own a dog. You guessed it right. Who else could it be? But like a bee against a wasp, I wasn't intimidated by his sting. I gave as good as I got. And the next weekend, when they were away, I snuck into his house and switched his toothpaste with cheddar. Say cheese! And also rearranged his room's furniture since I was at it. This was a war, and we gave no quarter. Unfortunately, our poor classmate John was often caught in the crossfire. One time, he sat on the wrong chair, which Thomas had covered in tacks. What is wrong with you, man? You did this all for Reese because you wanted to make fun of her? Just stay away from her, or what? You want to fight? Come on, John. Don't waste your energy on him. I'll settle this with him. So another time after art class, I prepared a little surprise in a bucket. And unfortunately, John got a face full of green paint. I'm so sorry, John. That was for Thomas. If he hadn't ducked, everyone started laughing hard at John, and I felt so bad for him. I ruined your clothes. I need to make it up to you. No, just stop. Didn't you and Thomas used to be such great friends? Don't remind me. But when I started junior year, I promised myself that I would not rise to the bait, no matter what Thomas did. I walked into school on the first day with a smile when, looks like it's raining inside. How dare you! I snatched the umbrella from Thomas, ready to teach him a lesson, but then I slipped on the wet floor and I mistakenly smacked against John, who was just passing by. Ouch! Oh no, I'm so sorry. Everyone started laughing at John, but he didn't utter a word and just left. That's it, Thomas. Just leave me alone, okay? I'm tired of all this. And from the next day on, I ignored Thomas throughout, and our prank war stopped. But I could feel Thomas watching me, and I knew it was just a matter of time before he struck again. Well, I didn't care. Now it was time to chase my dream, fund the Creepy Crawler Club, and become its president. Join the Bug Club! Free ant hat! I was determined to make it a reality, but I ended up looking silly in high school and no one joined. I was feeling devastated, but then something happened that changed everything. One day, I opened my gym bag and a note fell out. A note? Is this the 1960s? Why not WhatsApp? Must be another one of Thomas's pranks. I shouldn't open it, but curiosity won. I saw a yellow-branded bumblebee in the schoolyard near the fountain. I've been dying to see one for years, but they're endangered in North Dakota. I ran and there she was. I snapped a million pictures. What a beauty you are. Yes, pose, pose, baby. From that day on, I started finding messages everywhere, in my textbooks or stuck to the bottom of my lunch tray, and they were all about bugs. I didn't think there would be someone else so into creepy crawlies like me. It's my perfect match, but why hide and seek? I was on a mission to figure out who was behind it. I spent all of my free time being a detective, chasing every suspicious person, setting up a secret camera in my locker, and even pulling an all-nighter at school. You haven't caught the person yet, but it's pretty dreamy and funny. Show me the letter. From this, it seems like the person knows you pretty well. I'm so sure this person is like my soulmate. I just have to find them. Are you sure it's not one of our classmates? There were only 2 handsome boys in my class. One was Alex, but no, he never smiled at me. And the other was John. He was kind, tall, and sporty. Could he be my secret admirer? My spider senses were tingling, but I needed proof. After all my hard work, I finally found it. One of the notes was scribbled on the back of a concert ticket for this sick local band. So I threw on a wig and a disguise and went to their next show. And John was there. I was right. It is you. Hey, Reese, what are you doing here? Drop the act, John. I know you're my secret admirer. Yeah, I guess you caught me. Why didn't you tell me? I didn't think you'd like me back. To be honest, I liked you since you caught that spider on my desk 2 years ago. So he likes insects too? Can he be any more perfect? And so we started going on dates. Our first date was at a local ice cream shop. He knew my favorite flavor was mint chocolate chip and he ordered it for me. It teaches you not to judge a book by its cover. But then, when we walked around school holding hands the next day, everyone was excited for us, except for Thomas. What are you doing with him? I'm dating him. John, really? What do you even like about him? Why should I have to tell you? But he's so romantic. John couldn't recognize romance if it slapped him in the face. I didn't care about what Thomas said, but soon I realized that dating your perfect secret admirer is harder than it looks. On the second date, John took me on a roller coaster, but I'm terrified of heights. I had to put up a brave front for John, but I screamed all the way down. Wow, you won the loudest scream award. Maybe next time we can go to the entomology museum. I've wanted to go for ages, but no one ever wants to come with me. Sure, of course. Why not? How did I get so lucky? John's the best boyfriend ever. But the following weekend, John called. I'm sick. I can't come. The warrior wasps escaped. The museum's closed. Let's go paragliding instead. Private event. Hiking? The staff is on strike. Trapeze class? Whenever I came home from hanging out with John, I felt like I'd been through a tornado. Why don't you tell him you're afraid of heights? I want to go to the museum with him, Mom. He's the only one who gets me. Like you used to go all the time with Thomas? Right. I'd forgotten about that. What a shame he turned out to be such a jerk. I realized that Thomas had stopped following me around since I'd started dating John. He barely talked to me at school. And then one day, I saw Thomas with, was that his new girlfriend? And why are her legs so long? Who cares, Reese? You have a boyfriend. Are you okay? Like a beetle rolling dung. Like a what? Anyway, I was thinking maybe we could go climbing. Climbing? What about the museum? Next time, I promise, okay? I was about to tell John about my fear of heights when I heard Thomas's new girlfriend laugh from behind me. And I don't know why, but something flared up inside me. But I kept calm and put all my focus back on John. Mama didn't raise a quitter. Maybe I'll find some rare bugs on the top of that mountain. But the next week, the weather turned for the worse. Big, fat, rainy clouds covered the sun. Are you sure it's safe to go? Sure, I've done it a million times. I'll just see you there. I've sent you the coordinates. So I packed my clothes and my butterfly net and followed John's instructions. When I arrived at my destination, it started raining, and all I could see was an old run-down cabin. John? But the cabin was empty. I turned and wham! The door closed behind me. I rushed to it, but it didn't budge. Someone had locked me in. I was afraid and worried for John, who wasn't replying to his phone. Soon, however, the rain turned into a thunderstorm. What if no one finds me? What if I'm locked in here forever? My teeth started clattering. And then, crash! The door flung open. I'm saved! John! Wait, Thomas? Reese, you're all right. It was you! You locked me in! It wasn't me, I promise. It was John. Liar! No, I actually overheard him talking with his friends, and when I asked about you, he laughed, so that was enough for me. I just frowned at him, and he spilled out. He never really wanted to date you. It was revenge for all the times he got caught in our pranks, and especially that day when you accidentally smacked him and then he got the name Flatball from class. That made him furious, and he just wanted to even it out with you. He was gloating that he was just gonna leave you here for a bit. But all those dates! Come on, everyone knows you're scared of heights. You don't even step on a chair because it makes your head spin. I didn't want to admit it, but Thomas was making sense, too much sense. But he sent me all those notes. He heard you discussing it with your friend and decided to take advantage. And how would you know all this? Because I pay attention to you. I've never stopped paying attention to you. I narrowed my eyes at him. Then I noticed his t-shirt. It was for the local band where I had met John, the one on my secret admirer's note. And if John had been lying, like a speeding Rubik's Cube, it all came together. You're my secret admirer? It took you long enough. But you hate me. I don't understand. I never really hated you. In the beginning, I was trying to get back at you, it's true. But then last year, I started liking you, and I didn't know how to tell you, so I decided to organize one last prank. How is drenching me in water a declaration? The umbrella I had bought for you had "I like you" written inside. I imagined you'd open it up and read it, but you took it and smacked John instead. After that, you were so angry with me, I thought you didn't want to talk to me again. So I tried giving you notes. I facepalmed so hard I gave myself a bruise. Why can't boys just learn to talk? Instead, he decided to send me anonymous messages, and just when he planned to make a grand confession, John interfered with his plan. Will you be my love bug? Looks like you've wormed your way into my heart. And just when we were about to kiss, the rain stopped.